The rise of MAGA rappers. Yo, YouTube frogs, watching after the fact. First link in the description will be the original video. Go check it out. Second link will be my Twitch stream if you want to come by and watch me react to some things. Oh, I just realized we're not on the right cam. Hold on, there we go. Awesome. Fair warning, I talk too much. I reply to pretty much every chat message. Also, Twitch chat, if you guys want to go lurk the video like you do, go check it out. Go drop a sub to this guy if you like what he does. And also, YouTube frogs, I consider myself progressive and don't put myself in the pool of either party because I hate both parties for the most part, other than like Zoran. So don't come at me sideways saying I'm a Democrat, okay? All right, cool. Or you can. I mean, that's fine. Boost engagement, whatever. Anyways, the rise of MAGA rappers. Let's see what's going on here. Yo, sounds good, Spike. See you when you get back, King.
So in 2025, there are a lot of things that don't make sense. And to me, what makes the most sense in Trump's 2025 America is the rise of MAGA conservative right-wing rappers.
They want rainbows and we were just watching this the other day.
And white guys that hate black dudes. Where the patriots set, red MAGA on the head. Yeah, it's like that and we ain't turning back. Hang them up high and sun down. Leave them swinging so the folks on road. Joe Biden was just sharp as a...
What? Is he talking about hanging people?
And have Kamala follow the aftermath and try to convince and garner the votes of black. We'll get her life taken right in on the train.
Is Dax actually a MAGA rapper now? Was he like, oh yo, Tom McDonald, I see what this type of audience can do for you monetarily, and I want it.
By a nigga when she's rapping. What did you say, nigga?
You got guys like Tom McDonald, Forgiato Blow, and I'm pretty sure there's a couple of others that I don't want to know about, but I have seen and been hearing about Tom McDonald for some years now, and I just started to discover Forgiato Blow. And this makes a lot of sense to me because conservative white America has positioned themselves as the victims. And they started positioning themselves as a victim.
Yo, Potassium, thank you for the raid of 1 viewer. Appreciate you, King. Were you actually live or did you just do the right thing because you wanted to hear the song? Appreciate you either way, King.
With the start of the first black president, Barack Hussein Obama. Back in the day, there were rules about things you would talk about publicly. You wouldn't talk about religion and you wouldn't talk about politics. But it just so happened the people who gave these rules to most of America started to be very vocal about their political opinions and their political ideologies once they saw a black man become president. Now, I'm not here to debate the blackness of Barack Obama, whether he's an American, all those tricks and tactics that people like to pull up.
I was just informed that our president has finally released a birth certificate.
I'm here to talk about the rise of MAGA.
Dude, I'll never forget my dad in... I'm trying to think if that was the 2012 election or the 2008 election. Being like, I love Donald Trump. He offered however many millions of dollars if Barack Obama could show his birth certificate. I should have known then. Donald Trump, he was about to be the guy. I like the song. Oh, is there a cooldown or could you just do that over and over again? In theory, over and over again. Yeah, but also in theory and possibly in motion, depending on how many times you do it. I have a mute sound button, but you could keep doing it. Yeah.
MAGA rap because it makes...
Also, you don't have to go live to do it. You can just do /raid in your offline chat and it'll work the exact same.
So much sense to me. As we've seen in the last few years, there has been a lot of angry white people in America.
White man, fight back! White man, fight back!
We're honoring the founding fathers.
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing at this.
Honoring all of the great white men who are being smeared.
And to be fair, right-wingers have been upset since before Obama became president, but it seems as though when he became president, they turned it up a notch, and that's what led us to Trump.
Z-Boy, thank you for the raid, King. Appreciate it. You're a real one. I streamed like 4 Guitar Hero songs to hit my yearly quota. Oh, that's a W. Wait, hold on. You were cooking. Seriously, when Josh is at work and unable to watch? That's messed up, though.
The right is angry. They're always angry. They've been angry since anyone can remember. They were angry when the Union won the Civil War and they had to give up their slave. They were angry when Reconstruction gave their former slaves the right to vote.
All right, 3 strikes and you're out of here. Alerts are muted. Thank you for the host, Kiers. Appreciate you, twin. You're a real one for that. Oh, okay. No, that's real potassium. You gave me too much power. In the words of Bad Religion, it's all right to have faith in God, but when you bend to the rules, to their rules and their fucking lies, that's when I start to have pity on you. That's real. Y'all gonna put this white boy on edge. Yo, thanks, Mike.
Were angry when black soldiers came home from World War I and
I'll
World War
unmute it if
II
you.
and insisted on being treated with dignity, having fought for their country. They were angry about jazz music becoming more popular, and then about rock and roll. They were angry when black children tried to integrate schools. The whole history of the American right, whether they called themselves Democrats, Dixiecrats, or Republicans, is a history of rage. And even having, quote, taken back their country, unquote, by putting Donald Trump back in the White House and unleashing Project 2025 on all of us, deleting affirmative action, DEI, black history, black scholarships, black-held jobs in the federal government, having driven women out of the military leadership and ended everything from farm subsidies to foreign aid, while getting away with an actual insurrection scot-free. They're somehow still angry.
A lot of conservatives believe that they're losing their country. And so it makes sense in a country who has stolen everything from black people that they now are using the genre of rap to push right-wing conservative narratives.
Who want Trump one? Who want Trump one? Patriots pulling up, knocking on the Capitol. Oh, yeah. If you ain't liberal, then they treat you like you human garbage. If you speak up, then you a target.
Now, Tom McDonald, if you ask me,
Let me just say this before we get any farther into the react. I think the thing that makes me so mad about Tom McDonald, I don't know anything about this other guy, but from listening to Tom McDonald's songs and knowing more about his career from watching a couple of videos like this one, the thing that makes me the most upset about Tom McDonald is not the fact that he's conservative. Don't get me wrong. If you're conservative and you want to bring to light the truth in a situation, I'm all ears, bro. I'll hear you out. The problem is he doesn't actually search for the truth. He searches for what he knows his fans or people who could become his fans want to hear, right? He's not searching for a greater truth. He's just spewing the exact same shit that they say on something like Fox News, right? Just over and over and over again in the same songs with slightly different changed around things over the same NF beats. Oh, did you know that Tom McDonald makes his own beats and his wife shoots his music videos? That's awesome, bro. There are so many other artists doing that, by the way. I just want to let you know at such higher quality. Okay? Respectfully, brother. Actually, no, fuck that. This clown doesn't need respect, okay? Clearly, he is a fucking shill for conservative money and his conservative fan base. So I don't even need to say respectfully. There's no respect to be had here. I have more respect for Asmongold in his black mold dead rat house than I have for Tom McDonald. Because at least Asmongold tries to give you the veil of being a grounded, sensible individual in some ways. Now, you know, some of it you might be able to see through immediately, and some of it might be kind of put in a veil of lies that maybe you get caught up in. But Tom McDonald's is just straight up doing Fox News in a rap song. There is no having intricate conversations, deep conversations, discussing what the truth is, because that's not what they want to hear. That's not what he wants to hear. That's not what his fan base wants to hear. They just want to be mad at a certain group of people, which means they fell into the trap of current American politics where you're supposed to hate the other side. You don't have to do that, my boy, okay? Search for the truth. Search for the truth. I was talking to my mom about this the other day because she was talking about some people that she knows that are very big Trump supporters, and the fact that it is very hard to get through to them like, hey, this shit is actually impacting people that you know, like in your real life. It's impacting your family, the shit that's happening right now in the government. And I think like having that discussion, what I really realized is some people will just blindly follow a politician or a movement, right? And I think that is where we have so many problems right now. In the world in general, not just the U.S., but specifically in the U.S. a lot with politics, is you will blindly follow someone. I mentioned earlier in the intro that I am a relatively big supporter of Zoran. But if Zoran does some fuck shit, I'm going to say that's fucked up. And if it's really fucked up, I'm not going to support him anymore. And that's okay. You can exist outside of the realm of the two-party system. You should be voting on policy and actually holding these politicians to what they say they're going to do, i.e. Donald Trump, grocery prices. Shit's still expensive, man. You should be calling him out. i.e. Zohran Mamdani with universal childcare. He got it done in 8 fucking days. 8 fucking days, and he followed all the laws. All right? I'm not telling you have to be a fan of Zohran Mamdani. I'm just saying, search for the truth. Also, speaking of searching for the truth, me and my homie Skippy were talking about this. I think if you're a fan of someone, or you are very vocally supporting someone, you should be more critical of them, than their biggest hater, right? You should be more critical in holding the person that you believe in to a higher standard than even their biggest hater. That's my biggest irritation of today's politics. Oh, you have beliefs that align with the other side of the aisle from me? I hate you. Yeah, it's a humongous problem, bro. It's an absolutely humongous problem. Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying because, like, I have had to spend so much time explaining to people on the other side of, like, here I am saying sides, but, like, on the other side of, like, whether that being conservative or, like, neoliberal, that, like, yo, like, to neoliberals, like, yo, I'm not your fucking boy. I'm not a Joe Biden-ass Democrat. And then to conservatives, that will be like, you're a big liberal. No, brother, I'm fucking progressive. I hate almost all Democrats, too. The thing is I probably hate your side a lot as well. But if there is a conservative that comes up, it's like, hey, we need universal health care. We need to be feeding people that can't afford groceries. Hey, we need to figure out how we can help homeless people. Hey, we need affordable housing. I will fucking get behind them 100%, right? Because those are policies that I care very much about. Yo, last stand, sleep well. I'm happy you made a new homie from stream. That's awesome, dude. Pro tip, give no one a systematic advantage and governmental/systematic racism dies. If I have to hear another Tom McDonald verse, I'm vaporizing my house. I mean, we can just respect each other. Yeah, literally, bro. You're spitting there, Spike. I'm sorry. I'm catching up on chats. My bad. It's too bad we weren't told ages ago, united we stand, divided we fall. Yeah, dude. I mean, I think anyone who has a problem with, like, peaceful protests, right? No matter what it's for, really, other than if it's just straight up, like, vile, hateful shit. Like, we should not be having Nazi parades and shit, or what? Not parades, sorry. Nazi rallies and shit. Like, we shouldn't have something that is outright a hateful, evil group, right? But other than a scenario like that, if you are protesting or you are upset about people protesting, right? You've never read the Declaration of Independence. I am an idiot streamer, and I have a better comprehension than you, okay? I'm not saying don't hate people just because they want to burn a... Oh, yeah, absolutely, Spike. Absolutely. Yeah, because that's, like, the thing. Like, you can be, like... I'll use my dad as an example. My dad has different viewpoints than me, right? He's older. He is a conservative. He's, like, a moderate conservative. I can agree to disagree with him because I know that he's not an actually hateful human being. He's actually a good dude, right? So I can agree to disagree. But if somebody's like, oh, yeah, I hate all insert minority here. Okay, well, then that's where we have a problem. We can't agree to disagree on that, bro. You can't be mad at people for just living their lives. Yo, what's up, Puddle? How's it going, bro? If you try and argue the weather to a Trump supporter, they still won't believe the rain in front of their eyes. Yeah, literally. Yeah, there were literal Buddhist monks just doing a peace walk, and they still tried to incite violence on them. Yeah, that's real. Same with my dad. Yeah, dude, you get it. Like, there's so much room, and I feel like we can talk about, like, neoliberalism and, like, again, like, Joe Biden-ass Democrats, right? Where it's like, no, if they're conservative, you have to hate them. And it's like, no, dude, that should not be what we're doing here. You should try to find common ground. You should try and find common ground. How are you, Pissy? I'm okay, probably. Yo, I'm glad you're okay. I'm doing great, bro. Hitting some reacts here, baby. All right, sorry, let me resume here.
Has absolutely nothing on a B.O.B.
Is it just me? Or or is artificial intelligence mimicking melanin? They say it's simulation. First they said it's evolution. Science switch it up soon as niggas catch up to it.
If you listen to B.O.B.'s music, I'm talking about Dr. Aiden,
HIV in the 80s, biological chemicals designed to be contagious.
The Watchers.
Cause us musicians have influence on this mic, but they don't like that, so they conquer and divide.
Can really dive deep into B.O.B.'s discography, the Element series, even what he's releasing now with his artificial intelligence series. I'm a big B.O.B. fan, and I really think if you listen to some
B.O.B. That's a name I haven't heard in a minute, bro. Azzy, thanks for the bit, homie. I hope you're doing well.
of his stuff, you would see where a lot of these right-wingers have been getting their material. Right?
I guess we copies of a copy of a copy of a copy in a circle.
I even remember when Obama became president, I was a conspiracy theorist, like knee deep in it. You know, I was one of those kids watching a guy on YouTube called Enough Respect. And, you know, I would listen to a lot of the guys on the corner. I would question my reality. Now I know that I was just a young man coming to himself. I wouldn't say I was a conspiracy theory because a lot of...
Dude, I'm sorry to keep pausing so much. But, bro, I think that's an important part of life, too, is, like, I was, like, a Christian conservative for the first, like, I'd say, like, 17, 18 years of my life. And any time that I would hear other opinions from a different portion of the world, no matter what it was, whether it was, like, moving more moderate right or when it came to religion, I would immediately shut it down because it scared my belief system. Like, literally a part of my brain was like, oh, no, that, like, breaks this idea of the world that you have in your mind. And if you listen to them too much, you might be convinced to believe something else. And I think a lot of people have that. And also it's, like, built into their egos. And I'm not saying, like, egos of, like, you know, like, oh, I'm the greatest type of ego. I'm talking about, like, the way that monks talk about ego, like your sense of self, right? You have this belief system that you have been so sure of for so long. So somebody else that is trying to break down that belief system is now telling you that it's wrong. And now, since you've built so much of yourself into this belief system, you can no longer search for the truth because you have to stand on your word. But for me personally, I was like, okay, let me try and put this all aside. What do I really believe in? Like, what really makes sense to me? Which, like, now it's like this whole progressive vibe that I've been on where, like, I don't fuck with any really of the politicians in the United States other than, like, you know, Zoran Bernie. And I would say I'm, like, spiritual, not religious now, because that's what makes sense in my mind. I feel like when you make your political ideas either your personality or control your emotions too much, that's why people get so heated on this topic. Absolutely. Like, getting hurt by words is for literal children. Yeah, dude, if somebody isn't directly attacking you and you're actually letting that shit, like, demoralize you, there's an issue there somewhere. Not an issue that you can't work out and, you know, learn from. And it's not, that isn't particularly bad per se, but if you let that control your life for forever and you don't go searching deep inside of yourself, for why that is, then that's gonna hold you down your whole fucking life in one way or another. Yeah, like when I was 13, I was a mega bigot because I spent time in bigoted online. But I grew out of it, but these people refuse to. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, same. Literally same.
Things I believe actually turn out to be true.
Message.
I remember the conspiracy movement kind of taking a different direction when Obama became president. Before, it was all about 9/11, war in Iraq, and as Obama became president, it started to be about lizard people. Started to be not about questioning your government.
Chat, does anyone actually believe in YouTube Frogs if you're still watching? Does anyone actually believe that there are lizard people, like, in power? I want to, like, believe that in some way, but again, my brain is just like, make it make sense, buddy.
Questioning the narrative. It started to be about celebrities and secret societies and what mostly black celebrities were doing. You know, Oprahs, the Will Smiths, the Jay-Z's, the Beyoncés. It started to kind of take a little bit of turn to people who really didn't have no power, and then it started to become something else.
Jay-Z has been accused of placing secret symbols in his music videos, such as goat imagery and devil horns. the logo for his own music label.
I understand how we got here. I live in South Carolina, and I've watched these race dynamics play out. I was here when they removed the Confederate flag from the State House, and day by day after they removed that Confederate flag from the State House, that flag went from a Confederate flag to now the MAGA 2020 or the MAGA 2025 Trump flag. This video here by Vic Mensa could kind of explain it way better than I can. Shout out to Vic.
Bro, I could get so off topic right now talking about the Confederate flag in West Virginia, specifically where I grew up at. All right, fuck it. Let's get a little off topic. I've already rambled a ton. It actually hurts my brain when people in West Virginia raise a Confederate flag because I'm like, are you actually dumb? Are you actually stupid? Are you actually dumb as fuck? Literally, the reason why West Virginia is a state is because they didn't want to be a part of the Confederacy. Having the worst night ever right now. Wait, never mind. Skippy, we're on both of our hyper interests or whatever, or autism, you know, yada yada right now, bro. We're talking about MAGA rappers. Hyperfixation, there we go. Oh, Skippy, bet, twin. Bet. If you need anything, go text me, all right? Bang my line. Why is bro saying the Confederate flag and Trump flag are the same? Frowny face. Yeah, dude, what the hell? Don't ask West Virginians what the Confederates did. Yeah. Bet, Skippy, bet. Big bet, goat, big bet. I'm sorry you're having a rough night, though, bro. I'm sending you love, goat.
Vic Mensa.
MAGA rappers making country songs about lynching. Like, fam, can't you even get your own genre of music to talk about killing us? They want to be us so fucking bad. But, I mean, if they ain't nothing else, they pathetic. The guilt is deafening. Because from a deep, intrinsic place of knowing, they understand that they owe their entire existence to those that they've enslaved and oppressed. Very few things in their culture are not the creation of black people. The imitation in the MAGA trap rappers, it got me thinking about the ideological basis in the BBL and the lip fillers is the imitation of African features. And the history is crazy. Sarah Bartman, who was a Khoi woman in modern-day South Africa, was used as a grotesque museum display because of her large butt. And shortly after that, Marie Antoinette big bust corset came into European fashion. That was the original BBL. Like, they've been trying to become us. Because a huge part of the DNA of hatred is obsession. And a primary part of the DNA of racism is jealousy. Fixation with genitalia, with athletic ability, artistic ability, science and architecture of Egypt and the Aztecs. So as the hatred and the racism reaches a fever pitch, peep how the imitation do the same.
So this video shows you how a lot of American black culture has been stolen, has been taken from.
And like, not to be the too woke friend, but like literally everything that is popular and trending right now has just been stolen by a black person and repackaged by the whites.
Their beloved country music.
Stolen from a black person. I was like, stolen from... Hold on, what side of TikTok are we on right now? Yeah, dude, I was smiling and looking at the camera because I was literally about to say the same thing. Didn't even realize this. Like, so much slang, if not all slang, is stolen from black culture, and there is so much more. Look up the history of the word woke, like, just literally as an example. It's insane. Also, Vic Mensa, always putting cool shit on his social media. I follow him on Instagram and Twitter. I saw this video when it dropped. Yeah, he's a real one, bro.
Beyonce has showed you. The cuisine, the barbecue, the fried chicken, the jack...
Oh, dude, by the way, I realized this the other day. What is up with, you know, I don't want to lump everyone together. So I'll say some conservatives trying to do moral grandstands, which I think is crazy right now with the current presidency. Moral grandstands of like I was talking to somebody about California. I was like, yeah, no, I don't like Gavin Newsom. And then we were talking about something else. And they were like, oh, well, Gavin Newsom cheated on his wife with his best friend's wife. And I was like, I don't know shit or fuck about that. I know a little bit of Gavin Newsom's policies and the fuck shit he's done. I don't know about that. Nor do I really care. I don't like him for his policies and the fact that he's like a Joe Biden-odd Democrat. To be honest with you, right now in the current sphere of politics, I don't really care to do backlogging of him being a bad person, and it's crazy that we're doing that when Donald Trump is president. I mean, come on, man. That dude literally is fucking ripping people off with a fucking Bitcoin. Okay? We won't even get into the fucking allegedly Epstein files and shit like that. Let's just like look at this dude literally fucking over America. Okay? Or January 6th. Moral grandstands is crazy. Newsom been doing jack shit and fuck all over here, gang. Don't worry. Yeah, literally. I mean, that's like, I was like, yeah, I fucking hate Gavin Newsom. Every billionaire is in those files. My bad. Hey, I got something for the billionaires here in a few. Also, what the fuck happened? And I was talking to my mom about this the other day when we were talking about all that other stuff. I was like, what happened to the conservatives not liking billionaires? Why do they boot like billionaires now? And like, I know why. Because like all the conservative media pundits are getting paid off by billionaires, so they've just convinced them that billionaires are good. But for a while, and I was saying also, like, I think a lot of Ronald Reagan's rhetoric got misinterpreted. But yeah, dude, what's up with that? What's up with that? At least if I understand correctly, conservatives used to be like anti-billionaire and anti-big government. I've never gotten the billionaire thing. Yeah, I literally don't. And why do you feel like you have to defend the billionaire? That's like me defending Twitch, the platform. Like maybe saying like, well, to be fair every now and then, but like going like, you know, blood vessel popping out of your fucking forehead, screaming about it. Like, dude, chill the fuck out. Or like getting into a Twitter argument about it. Bro, they're fine. They'll be fine, dude. You do not have to dick ride Elon Musk. Trust me. He is trying to get any woman he sees to do that so he can reproduce. I mean, he's fine, but he tried to increase housing density in LA, of all places. So, well, and he also did some real fuck shit because he thought it was going to be PR where they were actually going to help addicted homeless people, but they shut it down right before it actually went into effect because he thought it would be bad PR. Billionaire is a hated minority, methinks. Yeah, that's the only minority hating that I can get behind. Unless we consider Nazis a minority, in which case, you know. Right, he actually got denied on the housing density, so he's done fuck all. Yeah, dude.
Daniels.
Call it the remixing of a story, right? I've learned when I moved down south and I got a real proximity to the wealthy people and I started to go to school with the people who had real wealth, who were coming to school with.
Would you explain that? Is it worth saying on stream? Wait, explain what? The homeless situation? I forget who. I wish I could point you to the video. It might have been an Atrioc video where he was talking about it. Or maybe it was, oh God, the anti-billionaire thing. Oh, what do you mean? Like conservatives being anti-billionaire? Yo, what's up, Prince of Boo? How's it going, homie? Like the idea of being anti-billionaire? Oh, of no billionaires? Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just taking it like, and I haven't thought deeply on this, but if we were to say like, hey, once you hit $999 million, then you can't make any more unless you give it to your workers or you have to get taxed for it. Well, then one, literally nothing would change in these people's lives other than nefarious things they're getting up to. And two, if it was getting taxed, then it could America could literally have free healthcare. We could have like teachers could be making $100,000 a year instead of like $30,000 a year. We could actually put that into social welfare, or they could even give unlimited money to Israel like they've been doing recently. And hold on, I was trying to think of another one. I was trying to think of another like good point. Oh yeah, and if they had to redistribute it to their, companies, then people would actually be getting paid good wages, which would also stimulate the economy. So like there is really no downside to not having billionaires. And if you even like look into Ronald Reagan more, you would understand that Ronald Reagan's like trickle-down economics was supposed to be a temporary fix, not a continuous fix to save the world. Okay? That was supposed to be a temporary fix to boost the economy again, not actually let it go on for years and years and years and years and years now. It's kind of the same thing like I was saying, like, politicians you hold politicians to like almost like a godlike level where you think they're untouchable and you have to be behind them 100%. Kind of the same shit happens with Ronald Reagan. Here, I'll give you a fun little YouTube challenge to do. Go to a conservative, and go, Ronald Reagan actually isn't the greatest president ever. Actually, he was kind of a shitty president. And watch their fucking brain melt, okay? This one, again, I don't want to generalize, but I will say, generally, most conservatives, even moderates, will probably have their brains fucking melt at that. They'll be like, no, he's a great president. He's a great president, right? But yeah, it's like, if anybody tries to be like, well, maybe Ronald Reagan didn't think trickle-down economics would work forever, then people are going to immediately get up in a twist and yell at you about it. But Trump needs that money to pay off all the women he's assaulted. Didn't Big Elon pay like $54 billion in taxes? I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't know Elon's entire tax history, to be honest with you. But I personally think no one needs $1 billion. So, but then no one would shoot for that kind of money. In turn, there wouldn't be any pay raises. What, for like billions of dollars? Well, you have to think about what kind of a psychopath do you need to be like, oh, I can't get $1 billion, I can only get $900 million? Well, I don't want to even try anymore. Bro, if you gave me $1 million, I'd be like, this is literally going to change my entire bloodline's existence. I'm literally going to help my family so much and also set my kids up for success so much. Why can't I just do good things with my money? See, and that is the whole thought process of the trickle-down economics. Is like, oh, these billionaires will in fact give their workers more money. Which if you look at pretty much any report, it will show you that's not what's happening. But that is the whole idea. That's the whole idea of giving billionaires tax cuts, is like, oh, they'll reinvest it. It'll stimulate the economy. They'll do it themselves. But the thing is, a lot of these people are really stingy with their money, so they will just try and hoard it. And again, but I will say, a lot of people have this, whole like, okay, but these people, that's their net worth. That's not how much money they actually have. Yeah, they still have a fuck ton of money though, and they still control more than they should. I mean, Elon Musk literally came out and said, yeah, I'm the reason Donald Trump got elected. These people should not have this type of power, which then we can go into the whole, I'm blanking on the name of the act or whatever it's called. Again, I'm a stupid streamer, okay? So give me a little grace here. But basically, in the government, right, if you want to donate to a campaign, it's capped at something like $5,000 as an individual. Corporations can give unlimited money. So if Elon Musk goes, I want JD Vance to win, let me give him $100 billion. He can do that. If Big Pharma, let's say, Big Pharma doesn't like Bernie Sanders in, I don't know, the 2020 election, and they say, hey, this guy's going to come for our necks here. What if we paid all of the Democrats to endorse Joe Biden? And also tell the Democratic leadership, make sure Bernie Sanders doesn't get in or we're cutting all our funding to you. That is one of the biggest problems in the US right now, is that is allowed. There should be a cap of some kind. But yeah. Will I be forced to give what I earn through hard work to people who I don't know what will do with my money? Well, and that's another thing, is like, you have to ask yourself, do you think that you can honestly make $1 billion? Me personally, and see, this is where beliefs will differ, I don't think there's any fucking thing you can do to make $1 billion fully ethically or technically work hard enough to get $1 billion. What's up, Bird Goat? But yeah, I don't know. That's just my beliefs on it. That's my points. Yeah, stop yapping about politics and dance, monkey. Yeah, you're right. My bad, man. Actors and musicians to be worth billions of dollars? I'm gonna be honest, I disagree. Listen. I'm gonna be honest, I disagree, because you might be able to do, well, actors is a whole nother story, but I'm thinking musicians, right? Because that's where I'm most tapped in on. you can make songs that change the world to a point, you know? I still don't think you should be worth $1 billion. Yo, hell yeah, Marinara. Actors, I mean, but also if you go back to musicians, some of the people that have made some of the biggest songs ever were fucked over by big labels and billionaires. These people are literally out here having to perform in their 80s to make back being screwed over by labels in the music industry. Yeah, Kanye was the first black musician billionaire in 2010. Yeah, and I, to be honest with you, don't think that Kanye West should have been worth that much. Didn't he get that through... Hold on, actually, let me Google this really quickly. I've been Googling, checking anything. I am interested. Kanye West, how did he make $1 billion? He's not worth $1 billion anymore, right? Because he lost that shit when he started being anti-Semitic. Let me look at this Reddit here, I guess. I'd rather rely on that than Google AI. Can someone explain how Kanye West went from being a billionaire to a still wealthy millionaire? Oh no, this is what happened to him. I guess we'll use AI. Key drivers of his wealth: Yeezy, Adidas era, revenue and royalties. Yeezy footwear alone reached $1.3 billion in revenue, with West reportedly earning around 11% as royalties, totaling over $140 million that year. Yeah, which, again, well, okay, sorry, let me take this conversation back. If these politicians weren't being paid off by billionaires, if we could start by making that not a thing anymore, where there has to be a cap on how much you can give to a politician, then politicians that actually have the best interest in the people would have to be the ones to get elected. Then, if billionaires are taxed to a point where they cannot get past $999 million, then that money will go to overall where the common man wants it to go. You know, schools, social safety nets, universal health care, that type of thing. West Virginian educates himself live on stream because his homeschooling failed him. Oh, bro. Yeah, none of this shit was learned in homeschool. Let me tell you that. To be fair, a lot of these musicians' faults for being too stupid to understand the contracts they are signing, but most labels are putting bands under 360 deals. Like, I seriously doubt any of these big sharp tone bands were given fair deals. You get put into the position where either you get signed and get an advantage whilst also being financially in debt to the label, or you be a DIY band and risk not growing at all or be given opportunities. Yeah. I'm going to deny that because the stupid fucking Streamlabs bot is active. But yeah. Yeah, to be honest with you all, I personally have to do more education to fully talk about and give a complete other side to this, because like Z-Boy, you're bringing up some good points, bro, honestly. Again, this is just what I personally believe. I am not well educated enough to actually have like a full in-depth conversation, just because in my moral compass, I don't believe that there should be billionaires. But if that fits into your moral compass, then that's totally fair. You know what I'm saying? This is a situation where we can like agree to disagree. Jesse Barnett isn't rich because his tour bus keeps breaking down. Well, and also they aren't like humongous. A lot of those old bands are financially stable just due to labels being a lot more fair pre-streaming era. Kanye made a lot of his money though outside of his label, just investing and being smart with his money. I was just curious on thought process. Thanks for explaining. Absolutely, bro. Honestly, Z-Boy, if you ever want to like talk about this in call, I can probably do a better job of like actually hearing what you're saying and then trying to like give some sort of like other viewpoint on it anytime you want. As long as I'm not super high in call, in which case I'll be like, oh, fuck, man, like, shit, dude, like, fucking billionaires swaying elections and shit. Fuck. Anyway, sorry, chat, we got so off topic. Let's continue this video. Chris converting his alt-right fan base into being socialist. Hey, you know it. One step at a time, baby.
BMWs. You know, New York City, when you live in New York City, you're living in one of the most segregated cities in the world, especially when you actually live in New York City. And I'm talking about New York City before gentrification.
I appreciate that you're not politically grifting, but actually bringing up good points, Chris. Oh yeah, if I wanted to politically grift, I'd just do Asmongold shit. But yeah, I don't, and I want to make it clear, chat. You are more than welcome to totally disagree with me and say that and bring up other points and shit. Like, I don't ever want you guys not to feel like you can, you know, like, don't take my word as gospel. Do your own research. I just do like to discuss this shit because I find it really interesting. And also, I think talking about this stuff will sometimes, if you haven't thought about it, kind of broaden your horizons on your viewpoints in the world. Dude, fuck yeah, Bird Goat. Also, brother, thank you for the lurk, bro. Appreciate you. So does that mean VC tonight? I probably will because I have to stay awake until the early morning hours tonight. So, yeah.
I gotta remember that my city is very different than what it was when I was growing up. It was a thing called white flight that a lot of people left the city. So I really didn't go to school with white people. I went to school in the South Bronx. I went to school in Harlem with a lot of black Jamaicans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. I didn't really go to school with white people, not even Italians, not even people that saw themselves as Italians, or not even people that saw themselves as Jewish. Those were in different areas. Now, of course, you got different parts of Brooklyn, Long Island, and Staten Island where a lot of those people live, but majority of people in the Harlems, in the ghetto, so to speak, they kind of removed themselves. So when I started going to school in South Carolina, I started to see white suburban America, and a lot of the times, the wealthiest of kids that I went to school with, they had problems. They were doing drugs. They were trying to pretend they were something they really wasn't, and I started to really understand the psychosis of people who have it all. They kind of were looking, especially the young people, they were kind of looking for issues. And so I started to see the world and America very differently, and I started to really understand where a lot of the Eminem thing came from. When you really look at where Eminem came from, it came from this idea that white America, the real white America, was the ones on drugs, the ones having pew-pews in the schools and things like that. You listen to a lot of his music, and it didn't really make sense to me until I moved down south and I started to see, oh, wow.
Middle America, now it's a tragedy. Now it's so sad to see an upper class city.
There's real white poverty here. You know what I'm saying? Where a lot of these Trump supporters come from are places that are forgotten about. You know, the farmers, they're making less money because the big farm has came in and the corporations have came in and found ways to, you know,
which is crazy. And I have this, I say this a lot to, honestly, pretty much anyone that will listen to me yap about this, is it's crazy that a lot of these, like, Southerners, right, are so pro big corporation at this point, kind of going back to how I said the Conservative Party used to be a little more anti-billionaire. They are so pro these corporations and so happy about this shit. And it's like, dude, they're literally the ones fucking you. They are literally the ones fucking you, making it impossible for you to keep your small business open. Like, bro, please log in. Good morning, Chucky. Again. Shout out South Carolina. Sounds about right. Yeah, bro. Shout out South Carolina.
Manipulate them and blame Reagan, blame Ronald Wilson Reagan. Because back in the day when I lived in New York, you would see it on television, them go to like Minnesota, or them go to like some hick town in the middle of nowhere, and you really wouldn't understand it until you actually came to a state like South Carolina, which used to be very rich with textiles, used to be very rich with farmland, was the wealthiest state back in slavery, and you start to understand the racial dynamics of real America more so than these major cities. If you ask me, all of America is very red.
I used to think that there weren't broke white people until I was like 11, basically until I met Chris. Hey, I got you, man. Hey, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to expand your horizons on your viewpoint for viewpoints in life with these reacts, my boy.
Just that these major cities like in Ohio, like New York City, make these states that probably would be red. I mean, if you look at Connecticut was just in the news for basically they had to make and fake a bunch of tickets to show that they weren't just ticketing black people.
Well, tens of thousands of fake traffic tickets. A shocking new probe reveals Connecticut state troopers allegedly created them to avoid claims of racial bias.
New Jersey, Maine, Connecticut, Vermont, all these places that are blue, just like Oregon, that are thought to be very liberal, are very racist. So if it wasn't for New York City, if it wasn't for Cleveland or Cincinnati, a lot of these big blue states would actually be voting red. And so these guys like Tom McDonald and Forgiato Blow, they're doing what they tell rappers not to do. They always tell rappers, don't speak on politics. It's said to not be beneficial to you, to where, you know, you'll lose a lot of endorsements, you'll lose a lot of this,
which, holy shit, I just realized creates a gap in the market, since so many people say not to bring up politics. I forget, Logic said it back in the day. Okay, that's how much of a cornball I was. I was Logic's biggest fan. I still do like Logic. I won't lie. But it was like politics, sports, and something else. There was like the big three that you don't talk about in music. Which, yeah, that like really created a gap in the market, I feel like. 100%, which literally just created the ability for Tom McDonald to thrive. Honestly, when I first started watching your streams, I thought you were going to say some racist shit. What about me said that? Is it, that's why I keep saying I got to paint my nails to kind of like even shit out. You know what I'm saying? Make sure people, you know, are like guessing like, yo, I don't know if I should call this guy F slur or if I should just call him racist. I don't know where he lands there. As a Southerner, I like race cars. You know, Mariner, that's what I love about you.
Like that, but it seems as though it's working for the Tom McDonald guy. It's working for the Forgiato Blue, who is going to these rallies.
MAGA supporters out here, people who love God out here.
Going to these Trump rallies and making songs for Charlie Kirk and
I am Charlie Kirk, I am Charlie Kirk, Charlie.
Making these anthems about lynching people.
But if you do, bitch, we'll hang you in a fucking field.
You hear even a Jason Aldean try that in this small town. America is starting to look at itself, right? Because racism, they always say we never punish the Confederates. It was like they got monuments. Like I drive on Robert Lee Road, right? There's roads where I'm at where they're named by Confederates. You know, I delivered to a place one time, a very nice place off a beach area. Confederate flags waving off the side of like a very popular like waterway. So if you're like on a boat, you can see it right there. You run into that a lot. You run into these signs that are very we gonna shoot you type of signs, right? Like gonna hang you nigga signs. That's what they really be saying. That's really low key. They be we gonna hang you nigga signs. That's what they be down here. I ain't gonna lie. If you a delivery driver, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you ever delivered in the South, them signs be damn near we gonna hang you nigga. That's what they be. I fortunately live in an area where
what? You had short hair and a groiper beard when I first met Chris. You look very racist, but you was chill. That is not the Charlie Kirk anthem. It's not, man. That's true? Yeah, man, your boots on the ground right here. You know what's up. Yeah, I don't know about West Virginia, bro, but, you know, obviously I'm a white dude, so I don't really know. This video may never make it to YouTube. Oh, it's going to make it. And you're going to look at the like to dislike ratio, and there's going to be like 5 likes and like 70 dislikes. And the comments are going to be shit like, I don't know why you young people try and educate anyone. It's completely pointless. You're wasting your life. And then the one below that, like, and it's actually going to be like this long, but like I just summarized it. You don't even need AI. I'll summarize it for you. Then the next one's going to be like, I hope no one depends on you in life because you're such a fucking loser idiot that no one should ever love you or care about you. You are a disgrace to society as a whole. I'll be like, oh, yes. Glad YouTube sent me the notification about this one. Man, I was in like the mountain range, region in South Carolina on a storm with my buddy, Terrence, black dude. And I thought we were going to die. We were on like a dirt road with like 4 houses. Dude, I'm not even kidding you. In West Virginia, if you try and do like the back roads thing on the maps, right, to avoid highways, there is a good chance you could get into like pockets of that. Not like full on, at least where I was, up towards like the top of West Virginia. But you can definitely, like at one time I was trying to go from where I once lived to Moundsville, West Virginia. I was like, oh, I'll go back roads. It like only is a little bit, literally I take one right turn. Gravel road, then the gravel disappears and it's a dirt road, pitch black in the middle of the night in my fucking lesbian ass car, the Subaru Impreza. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking stuck here. I'm gonna die. I'm literally gonna fucking die because I didn't want to go on the highway tonight. I remember one time my racist uncle told me, you're young, you can't have an opinion. And that fucked with me for the longest time. Like that's something you should never say to a kid. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and there's also, I've heard this a bunch of times now, is like as you get older you'll get more conservative, and I think that kind of goes back to the whole idea that once you start to burn out more you gain less empathy. So I think if you let life completely dull you down to the point where you are less empathetic, you are apathetic at that point, then yes, of course you're going to get more conservative because you're going to think like, okay, the Conservative Party has only my best interests, so I will vote for them. They don't give a fuck about universal health care. They don't give a fuck about the homeless. Yeah, I want more for me. Let me get more money. Let me get more things. I'm going to vote for that. And I'm not saying that Democrats in any way actually, other than, you know, a handful, Bernie Sanders and Zoran, for sure, you might be able to put AOC in that conversation, right? Other than those couple of people, the Democrats aren't going to do that for you either. But at least every now and then there is somebody like Zoran or Bernie that you can put a lot of your eggs in that basket and go, hey, I am proud to support this person because they have the best interests of everyone. And isn't that what America's supposed to be about? A nation for everyone with the American dream, right? Or am I tripping? Did we lose that along the way? Sorry, that's what I grew up on. That's my bad, guys. Sorry if we changed it to only a certain group of people can be happy in America. My bad. Honestly, I'll just go to Canada. Oh, my bad, bro. Same guy who tried to say I was lying about my Tourette's because I didn't scream out swear words. Oh, so he's an ignorant. Okay, gotcha. I'm sorry you got to deal with that, twin.
It's not as South Carolina as it could be. I live in an area that is more of a vacation area that is dominated by Northerners, carpetbaggers as they like to call, or a lot of Yankees as they would like to call them, have come down here and have made this little area their home. But you know, they're mostly people from New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Ohio that are running from taxes. So they're not like overtly racist. They'll just make a private school and go to private school. You know what I mean? Like they don't really, you know what I mean? They don't really mix in with the people. So, you know, I fortunately live here, but I saw it a lot when I lived in Columbia, South Carolina, which, you know, you got West Columbia, which, you know, crazy. There was a place called Maurice Barbecue that as soon as you come into Columbia, they got a big Confederate flag in like their business, like that's like their thing. And you know, I worked for a couple of companies that were like, yeah, you know, you've been in some very uncomfortable situations. These people are speaking for people who feel as though they are now the victim.
I don't care if I offend you.
Holy shit, that was actually a Tom McDonald jump scare. I was not expecting that. It was dead ass a full on Tom McDonald, and then it's even scarier because Ben Shapiro is there.
I was put into a setting. They want war, they don't want peace. They want defund the police. We the people won't stop his MAGA nation till they kill us.
They have maneuvered themselves.
It's just so bad. The beats are so bad. The rapping's so bad. It's just all incorrect shit. Oh, it's so fucking bad.
Into this victim position, you know, they're going against DEI and
oh, dude, I'm so sorry. This is not important. Like, we're not even gonna like have a serious conversation here. But I was trying to figure out the words to put this idea that I had in my head. But I was thinking about that Tyler Childers song where he talks about police brutality, right? And I was trying to figure out how to put shortly, like, yes, I would also be mad as a conservative if all I have music-wise is that one Ted Nugent song, Kid Rock and Tom McDonald, and then the wokies have Tyler Childers, okay? I would be pissed too, all right? I would be a little grumpy and a little more apathetic with the world too, okay? Shout out my mom's side. Gam Gam be letting some wild shit rip while I'm eating my mashed taters. Yeah, dude, the Wokes also have Hank Williams and shit. They also got fucking Sturgill Simpson, bro. Oh my God, it's over. And a lot of people would probably argue that the Wokes got Zach Bryan. But if the Wokes got Zach Bryan, then that means the conservatives got Morgan Wallen. So, you know, we're just kind of going band for band now. Dude, Sturgill's so good, bro. Sturgill Simpson is that Cutting Grass album is the album that I will listen to anytime that I'm in like a literal like mental pit. Like when I'm like, I literally just can't feel happy today, I'll just put that on and be like, yeah, it's all right, bro. Everything's good. They have Pantera too, unfortunately. I know you know ball, bro. Chris, can I move in, bro? Hey, we got a guest bedroom. Yeah, come on, get over here, twin. Yeah, pretty much anyone that is directly tied to Tyler Childers marinara, I went on like a big deep dive over the summertime when I was like not streaming that much. Tyler Childers, Sturgill Simpson, Charlie Crockett. I was already on Charles Wesley Godwin. Yeah, dude. Yeah. What just fucking happened? Oh, I accidentally clicked on his thing. That's my bad. I accidentally clicked on his channel thing because I was trying to put my mouse in this corner.
wokeness, and they're going against mainstream narratives, which is kind of crazy to me because it's usually, if you look at the economics, if you look at CEOs, they're majority white men, and they're the ones that are pushing these DEI or these woke things, and black people and brown people get the blame. We're going to take our country back. ICE is running through all these different communities, going to construction sites where people are just trying to make an honest living, and they're taking people and they're separating people from families, and there's all different type of horrible stories that are going on. So it makes sense to me that you see a rise in this.
Hope you got your bags packed, 'cause you're about to get deported. Oh Lord.
I don't think anything else makes any more sense when you look at the obsession.
That beat was bearable. It was I was bumping my head a little bit to it. Dimebag didn't die for the singer to drunkenly yell "white" during a concert. Sorry, I'm not going to say that out loud because, you know, there might be a chance this gets monetized. If it doesn't get monetized, by the way, this video will not see the light of day. Just want to let you know. Okay, I'm not going to get shit on by a bunch of conservatives if they aren't at least going to rake me in some ad revenue. I should have went to see Sturgill with my ex's dad when I had the chance, dude. I'm sorry, bro. Jupiter's, is it on that Cutting Grass album? Because if it is, then I probably did hear it, but I'm not sure.
That people have with black people, have with brown people.
Like, literally house music. Everyone's obsessed with house music now, and it's like, you guys would hate the origins of house music. Like, in the black and gay underground of Chicago, like, y'all would not vibe there, but now that, like, John Summit and Diplo have gentrified house music, y'all love it. Like, that's how every single music has started. Same with rap.
I was literally about to say, rock and roll, brother. Rock and roll.
Obviously with rap, it did not start with white people.
I employ anybody to go listen to B.O.B.
Computers resemble humans, and humans resemble niggas. Niggas resemble God. Artificial work.
Yeah, honestly, I'll have to tap in on B.O.B. more. I haven't heard his name in a while, but I know that he, at least from what I remember, I used to be like really into like watching music critics and stuff of rap music, and everyone back in the day was like, yeah, B.O.B. is like good. It doesn't make sense that he's not bigger. He's good. He's really good. Yes, Christian, I'm not gonna get yelled at conservatives for Free West. Yes, exactly, dude. Come on now. It's like 7 minutes long, but I love it so much. I'll tap in, Mariner. I will tap in, goat.
Artificial job, paying artificial tax to an artificial god.
Go listen to Dead Presidents. Go listen to Immortal Technique. They're actually speaking truth to power. These guys like Tom McDonald and 4G Blue, they're literally emulating. They have no culture, right?
Well, again, I think the difference between them and like B.O.B. is B.O.B. is probably searching for the truth just out of his own morals and merit, and realizing that he's not gonna grift. He probably has enough money from being popular there for a while that he is literally just searching for the truth to make the best and most pure art that he can with what his skill set is, right? Tom McDonald and this other guy and all these other, you know, conservative rappers, they're not doing this out of the goodness of their heart. Or if they are, they've been very misled in life. Because if they were trying to do something out of the goodness of their heart, even if they are conservative leaning, they would be upset about like the Epstein files not getting released. They would be upset about Palestinian children dying. Whether you think that like, oh, you know, Hamas is stealing everything in Palestine. Okay, yeah, I don't know. But also, I don't think you should be blowing up children in Palestine either. So why don't you make a rap song about that, Tom McDonald? Why don't you make a rap song about that? You can even paint Israel out to be a good guy and Hamas be the bad guy. But maybe talk about how you hope that less Palestinian children die from bombs. Why don't we have one of those Tom McDonald songs, huh? Why don't we have Israel is America's greatest ally, but Palestinian children shouldn't have to die? Ooh, Tom McDonald, write that down. Write that down. I'm working. Hey, I'm working on your PR right here, buddy. Come on. Let's get the liberals really triggered. They'll be confused, bro. Remember, everyone's music is a big form of protest, so sing politically. Even fucking Hatsumiku had a song that said, fuck the corporation. Wait, I didn't know Hatsumiku was tapped in like that. Hold on.
I read the book White Fragility, where a lot of people adopted this idea of whiteness. Whiteness doesn't really exist. When a lot of poor Europeans came after the Civil War, they've adopted this white mentality because they saw that being black was bad. So they adopted whiteness. Came over as Italian. They came over as Irish. They came over as German. But then they come to America and they lose that and they strip that and they become white, which white has no identity. And the closest thing to an identity that white has in America is war, is violence, is murder, is kill, is hate, is fear. When you see these guys
when violence is the only thing that you comprehend, don't be surprised when it works in a way you can't understand. Stick to your guns. 3 18. Universal Language, though. It's on that fucking 2016 EP. That shit is literally peak. It might be my favorite EP of all time because it also has the suspend on it.
Giotto Blue, and they're literally emulating, right? Like, shout out to Drewski, because this is...
Folks always tell me, like, you a white boy, you can't be doing all that. I grew up on that side. On that side, yeah. But I was raised by these folks.
Are you a rapper, singer?
Rap artist, Giotto Blue. FORGIATOBLOW.
I was showing my wife, and she was like, oh my God, is that Drewski? And I was like, no. And you know, you run into a lot of these guys that have the bravado of, you know, being a thug or whatever that may be, because they may have grown up on a trailer park, or they may be in a biker gang, or they may play football with the brothers. Or see a lot of these frat boys that are in love with the Waka Flockas, right? Waka Flocka used to come around Columbia, South Carolina a lot and hang out with the frat boys at USC, and he used to just be walking around, and they love it. I think Tom McDonald said that hip-hop was designed and created to destroy white people.
The demographic for hip-hop is like 19.
Why? Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. This is why Ben Shapiro's views are fucking tanking, bro. Be so fucking for real right now.
To 35-year-old white American youth. That's the primary demographic. It almost seems like there is a conscious effort to sort of destroy and dismantle and dilute that generation.
What?
Well, and here's the problem for Tom McDonald is he doesn't understand, because like a lot of these conservatives will be like, oh, they're talking about doing violence and shit. Oh, they're talking about like gang wars. They're talking about being in a gang. They're talking about drugs. They're talking about horrible things in these rap songs. Well, yeah, because it's an art form. They are using it as a form to come to terms with everything that they've had to experience. Created by America. We are the richest country in the entire world. So they aren't specifically trying to take you there. They aren't trying to be like, yeah, specifically. And I'm saying this is like, you know, Kendrick Lamar type shit. I'm not talking on like Future and whatever. You know, I guess you can have a whole discussion about that, whatever, right? But like Kendrick Lamar type motherfuckers, right? They are saying this to paint you a picture of their life and how bad things are and the struggles they went through. It's just that you, Tom McDonald, as a white Canadian, would never understand it. You would never get it. Chad, I just found a blonde who listens to Kid Rock. I'm in love. Hey, get in there, son. Peace is something you fight for. Also stick to your guns. Oh, I love them so much, bro. Bang!
Cop has done more damage to black and brown people.
Oh, is this the Kendrick Lamar sample, speaking of?
Than racism in the last 10 years.
But then you got Tom McDonald saying it in reverse about, you know, and it's just like when you position yourself as the victim because you really have no problems. If you look at the economics, it seems as though black wealth is dwindling and white wealth is getting more. And of course that may be because the 10% makes up for 50% of the spending. You know, that 10% it has all of the wealth, while the bottom 50% has none of it, right?
The bottom 50 have 2.5?
Maybe that's the case, but these guys are speaking for people who feel as though they've been left out. And it isn't because of DEI. That's what rich, wealthy, white people want you to think.
Yes, bro.
The brown person's fault. Or, you know, they want us to have this culture war instead of a class war.
Just a reminder.
Yes, bro, and that's the biggest thing. It shouldn't be a left versus right. It shouldn't be a culture war. It should be a class war, bro. People up here are the ones doing the most damage to you, not the little dudes down here, bro. Lock it in, bro. You got to wake that shit up.
That the billionaire elite wants us fighting a culture war, not a class war. Right now, the people in power are trying to start a civil war, and they want us to have a culture war, not a class war. When someone asks, what is a woman? They're trying to start a culture war, and they want to distract you from the fact that 0.1% of this country owns 5 times as much wealth as the bottom 50%.
These guys are servicing a need. They're servicing a market. There's a demand for people to speak up. And so Tom McDonald, Giotto Blow have positioned themselves in to fulfill that void.
Argue to say that our song is actually the total opposite of that. It's empowering people. It's hopefully encouraging people to stand up. And
I could tell you these vibes are not correct here by 2 things. One, respectfully, what the fuck are these guitars, my man? Secondly, the $8 Amazon lights right here. Yep, I'm out. If I tune into a stream and I see this shit, I'm out. Yeah, I'm out.
and speak their mind.
Because let's be real, who are the number one consumers of hip hop? So why not get your hip hop without all the guilt, without all the you can't say
That's an aura of some kind, my man. The big the big green stink cloud that follows him around.
The N-word, with all of those this, even though Forgiato Blow has said the N-word, making songs about lynching and all of these different things. This makes sense to me. I'm a big Back to the Future fan. I have the Back to the Future soundtrack here, one of my favorite movies. But in Back to the Future 2, there's a timeline where Biff, shout out to Biff, right? He goes back, he steals the almanac, and he becomes the president. And I feel like we're in this timeline.
Learn how Biff parlayed that lucky winning streak into the vast empire called Biffco. Discover how in 1979 Biff successfully lobbied to legalize gambling.
What would that timeline look like where rap music is one of the most popular music genres? Most of the musical genres in America, if not all of them, gospel, rock, jazz, you name it, country, they all started from black people because they were about oppression. When you speak into the heavens, you're speaking for somebody to come save you due to the oppression that you're facing. And now that these people see that,
That's why people will say like, "Oh, Sturgill Simpson woke." Bro, outlaw music has always been woke, my boy. It's always been woke. It's only been recently that you got fucking dorks coming in and making it about, my tractor, my beer, and guns. Which, by the way, I will say, Second Amendment, pretty sick, okay? That's cool. That's awesome. But you shouldn't fully align yourself with, I don't know, one party completely, maybe? I'm just kind of thinking on the spot here. Or or do revisionist history of what the genre is.
feel as though that they're oppressed. This is what we get.
Tripping, I guess God just spelled us different. God, the devil is a Democrat. I got patriot tears dripping on the dead home.
We get MAGA raps, we get conservative raps, right? And as you see, even Young Thug lean into it. Drake kind of says stuff that feels very MAGA. He's aligning himself with the Morgan Wallens, and he's aligning himself with the Aiden Rosses and these weird manosphere adjacent, MAGA adjacent podcasters and streamers. He says things like, "Why you rapping like you're trying to get the slaves free?" This is bubbling. This is festering something because people believe that black people need to get over slavery and that we need to move on. These same talking points that has been going on before me and then will continue to go on. From the America that I'm seeing, from what I've been seeing since Obama became president, I remember one time Fox News was like, you need to find somebody else to sign the next stimulus bill, and it was like a shot ape, right? This exists. This is real. This rhetoric has never went anywhere because we never dealt with the Confederacy. And actually, if you ask me, the media has done everything to double down on this image of black being the face of crime, being the face of negativity, being the face of all of these negative things in America. If you look at it, it's been doing that.
Yeah, dude. By the way, went through a whole time where I was like super liberal, right? In like 2020 to 2021. And I really realized how different I am from these fucking Joe Biden ass liberals when I started to like educate myself on what was going on in Palestine and look at the coverages of it on traditional media, and it was like, oh, they're all fucked. They're all fucked. They're all completely fucked. Which is why I try and get as much information and as much resources as possible from either fully independent media or as close to as possible. That is always my biggest gripe with Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire, is that they are funded by billionaires.
For a while now, when you look up the stats and statistics, that's not even the case. I think it was a very Operation Playbook, as we didn't even punish the Nazis. We brought a lot of the scientists in. We brought a lot of their experts
crazy, by the way.
in. If you ask me, it makes a lot of sense how our neighborhood started to become the ghetto, which the ghetto is the name that where the Jewish people stayed at. This makes a lot of sense that these people feel as though they losing their world. The birth rates of a lot of white people are declining. They think that there's this great replacement theory that's happening.
Dude.
They somehow believe that black folk got the power. And the reason why I mentioned the conspiracy thing is because some way, somehow, it was switched from the government and questioning the government and government officials to like Obama, Oprah, Will Smith, right? So these people believe for some reason that these like rap music and all the things that are pushed by, who owns the labels? Black folk don't own the labels. So they have this idea that all of these things are an attack on whiteness. So if you let these MAGA rappers tell it, the white males are the ones that are receiving prejudice, and the white males are the ones that are receiving racism on the other end of racism. You know, if you let them tell it, you know, there's a war on the woke mafia, and the DEI and all these things are attacking specifically white straight males or the nuclear family. I remember I had this coworker, and I'll leave you guys here. This was years ago. He really tried to tell me he's experienced more racism than I have, because every time he got into a situation, right, the one example he gave me is he didn't have his ID, and he didn't have like his ID, or he forgot something to get on a boat, and it just so happened that the lady working on the boat was a black lady, and he felt as though that was racism, right? He kept running into these small instances where he wasn't prepared and he didn't have his right certification, but somehow because it was a black person in front of him that he experienced more racist, that he actually experienced racism from black people. And so I'll leave you here so you can understand why black people can be prejudiced, but black people can't be racist. So this is the last thing I would say right here.
One of the things that I do is I try to help people get a picture of what I mean by racism. So tell me how it is. I'm going to, first category is white racism, then we'll deal with black racism. So white racism. Tell me the ways in which white racism adversely impacts the lives of black people. Just what are the ways that white racism can adversely impact the lives of black people as a group? What are some of those ways? Power, but how is that defined specifically? Education, okay. Economically, employment, housing, policing, healthcare, okay. Now, we could actually kind of grow that list. Now we're going to move over to black racism. Tell me the ways in which black racism adversely impacts the lives of white people as an entire group. The reason why you become silent, there's one that always comes up, and that's fear. White people are afraid of black people. They are afraid of us. And it's a very interesting thing because black people know it. We know white people are afraid, but you have to start getting into the psychology. What are you afraid of? Why are you afraid? But it's an interesting dynamic. Now, also you see the difference in what racism is, do you not? Racism implies you have not just prejudice, but the power to do something with that prejudice. Now, I don't like you, not only that, but I'm going to control whether you can get, you know, I may say I hate you. I hate white people. I hate them. It's not going to change you getting that, you know, loan. When you go to the bank, I can hate you all the way to the bank. Not going to change. Do you see the difference? That whereas white racism says, not only do I not like you, but I'm going to change the impact of where you can live. I'm going to determine with that racism where your powers are. You following? And I'm talking about as a group, not an individual, because people said, I remember when my uncle didn't. I'm not talking about your uncle. I'm talking about the whole group. I'm not talking about an incident. That's the difference.
And this is how history is rewritten. MAGA rappers have positioned themselves as a victim of the system. And so it's important for us to educate, and it's important for us to resist, and it's important for us to fight back and tell the truth. And so with that, I will leave you guys. Hopefully this hits you. This is a conversation, and it continues with you in the comment section. Comment, like, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you can be notified whenever I release a video. Donate to this Cash App link if you like what I'm doing here. Super chat. Anything is appreciated. I appreciate you. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you decided to be here. I'm not here to be right. I'm just here to be me. Let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. Join to be a member. Link is in the description.
Hell yeah, dude. I feel like this was a really good video. Sorry I yapped so long, dude. I got so off track there. But almost I had to grab a charger. Give me a TLDR. Basically just the fact that, like, if the tail end of this was, if a black person is racist to you, the worst that's going to happen is your feelings are going to get hurt. If a white person is racist to a black person, they have pretty much the entire system behind them to actually stop them from acquiring a better life, pretty much. And we should have educated discussions with Tom McDonald fans about why what he is saying is a bunch of baloney. Stinky baloney left out for a fucking week in the hot sun. I believe that part of the problem, too, is that in southern states, religion and work is prioritized over education. Southern states even have more lenient laws on homeschooling. I won't blame someone who changed if they were born into it and had those racist views hammered into their head from birth. Yeah, absolutely, bro. Well, and that goes back to the fact that we don't have enough fucking money for education systems. And that problem is just getting greater and greater because now Donald Trump's whole thing is, oh, we're going to send things back to the states, right? Well, with the big, beautiful bill, sending it back to the states is the poorer red states, sadly, and And I don't say this as like a gotcha. I say this as like I am fucking heartbroken because one of them is West Virginia. And no matter how many jokes I make about West Virginia, I still love the state. And I love Kentucky. I love these states, right? But literally they can't give money for food stamps. They can't give money out for food stamps. They have to close hospitals because these states don't make enough fucking money, right? Anybody who bitches about California making a lot of money, yeah, well, if it's the United States taking their taxes, using that tax money from one of the biggest economies in the world that is just a state, and then giving it to fucking Kentucky, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. If you give it back to the states, then California is going to continue to fully thrive. I'm white. Does that make me racist? No, it does not, Crow. What's up, homie? How's it going? Kentucky's dope. West Virginia's mid, though. I drove through it twice. No, that's fair. Dude, Kentucky's actually so fucking sick. Yeah, you won't hear me be like, West Virginia's an incredible state, but I love it, you know? It's like, your stupid cousin. You're like, yeah, God, he's an idiot, but I love him. Not like that, though, Ken. I know I'm from West Virginia. Yeah, dude, PA is actually so sick, dude. You know, play 5M. Oh, hell yeah, bro. Like, did not expect that. Yeah, dude, PA is actually really sick. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, dude. I feel like a lot of people, whenever they think of Pittsburgh, and I was talking to Limber about this that time that we hung out together, he was like, I envisioned like a smoky fog over top of it, or like a smog. And I was like, really? Is that what people think? Like, Pittsburgh's actually sick. I mean, as long as you're around in the wintertime. The wintertime gets a little shaky. Northern Michigan is ass, though? Really? I don't even know what part of Michigan I was in, hanging out with Lindbergh, but I thought that part was beautiful. I don't know where that's at. All right, Chad, I got to take a piss, and we're going to go to something